One of the many hats I get to wear is youth ministry volunteer, and the group that I work with mainly is the older high school boys. So they're mostly juniors and seniors. And the last couple weeks, the topic we've been going over is brotherhood. And the boys and girls are separate. So for the girls, they're talking about sisterhood. But at the core of both of those topics is really like having a support system. People around you who know how to pick you up and when to pick you up when you're down. They offer you words of encouragement when you need it. But one of the other things we talked about was like having people around you who aren't afraid to tell you when you're wrong. Now, this is probably one of the things that parents freak out about. Like I said, work with the older high school boys. And so in a year or less than a year or within 2 years at least, juniors and seniors, like they'll be going off to college and most of them will be out of the house and on their own and independent for the first time. And this is probably why, at least one of the reasons why parents get so concerned about like what's going to happen to my kid when they're gone. Because they don't know who's going to influence them. They don't know how their kids are going to respond to the influence, to the new environment, to the new people around them. And so they have every reason to at least think about like, gosh, what's my kid going to do? And so again, this is why we talked about the importance of, that support system, the brotherhood or their sisterhood, to have people around you who will keep you on the right path, keep you in the right direction, obviously with a religious and spiritual, foundation and base to it. So keeping you on the path that God wants for you. But the big thing that we were driving, because it's easy to say like, yeah, like have people around you, who will tell you good job, have people around you who will encourage you. But I think people don't usually want to be told when they're wrong. And that might be one of the most important things to have in your life. Someone, and if not just one person, hopefully multiple people who will tell you when you're wrong and how to be better and how to do right. It's one thing to have someone who's overly negative and they bring too much pessimism or negativity into your life. Like, that's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about someone who's close to you, someone you have a bond and a relationship with and that you trust, who's not afraid to tell you, you know what, man, like you probably shouldn't have done that. I get you were upset, or I get you felt this way, but that wasn't the right thing to do. And that takes courage for someone to do that for someone else, like to have that conversation with someone else. Like, you shouldn't have done that. Again, I think we get caught up in, wanting to feel good and feel validated in our emotions, in our decisions, in our reactions. And we shy away from people who will offer us constructive criticism. And again, not overly negative where it's always pessimistic and it's always negative and it's kind of beating you over the head. Not that stuff. Like, that's probably not good for you. But someone who's going to offer you constructive criticism. Someone who's going to say, hey, you're capable of doing better than that, and I'm going to let you know that. Like, you can do better. And one of the messages that we shared with them is like, if you're ever the person who's telling someone else, hey, like, you could do better, you should do better, I know you're capable of doing better, always end with a positive. So like, hey, you shouldn't have done that. And I know that you know what you should have done because I've seen you do it so many times before. So next time, do that instead because I know you've done it. Like, that's a positive. I'm not just saying you were wrong, you were wrong, you were wrong. Like, yeah, you were wrong, but you know how to be right. You know what you should have done differently. And I've seen you do it before and I know you can do it. So being willing to have people in your life who aren't afraid to tell you how you can be better. And then also having the courage to be the person in someone else's life to tell them you can be better, and then always ending with a positive. Like, you did this wrong, but I know you can do it better. I know you can do it. I've seen you do it before. Those two things are vastly important, especially for the older kids, like I said, the ones who are very soon going to be on their own, to have a support system around them like that. So if you don't have anyone like that in your life, or if you're not that for someone in your life, take some time to think about that. Like, who can I invite to be this person for me or these people for me? Again, obviously those kinds of relationships take time to build so that there's trust there. You don't just want some random person telling you this is wrong, you're wrong for this, you're wrong for that. Like, you want someone you have a relationship with to kindly check you. And then, if you're not the person in someone else's life who tells them when they're wrong, what can you do to be someone like that for another person? Is it just a matter of, stepping up and having the courage to do it? Is it a matter of praying and asking God for the courage to do it? Is it a matter of putting yourself in a position to make more friends so that you can be that person? Now, don't go making friends for the sole purpose of offering constructive criticism. Like, build a relationship with someone, but can you put yourself in a position to make more friends so you can be that person for more people?